I am Zach Harmon. My partner Todd Patterson and I made this our project on women's rights activists for National History Day. These activists and their contributions have helped shape the world we live in today. These women encountered many challenges, explored new ideas, and exchanged many protections and comforts in order to make these important changes to our society. Through the late 1800s and early 1900s, there were many influential women who battled to gain women's rights. These are some of the most significant activists of the women's suffrage movement.
Chose the four following people as our choice to be in our topic: Susan B. Anthony, Lucy Stone, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, and Amelia Bloomer. The reason we chose Susan is because she is a legend to our country today. Then we chose Lucy Stone because she worked along with Susan and they were great working together. We chose Elizabeth Cady Stanton because we thought that she and Susan were main focus in women's rights, and without her and all the others, I wonder what it would be like nowadays, if it were worse or better.
Amelia Bloomer created the Lily, a temperance meaning anti-alcohol, newspaper. The publication explored the pressing women's issues of the day. Along with women's suffrage, Bloomer also explored women's dress reform. At the time, women typically wore confining corsets as well as several petticoats under their dresses. Bloomer suggested that women adopt a new style of wearing dresses with looser tops and skirts that stop at the knee with a pair of pants underneath. This way, women were less confined by their clothes, so they could ride bikes much easier, which was near impossible with women's dresses of the day. Although others had worn the style before, it was Bloomer who made it widely known.
Lucy Stone dedicated her life to improving the rights of American women. She used her wedding ceremony to voice her protest against martial law by not taking her husband's name. She stated, "Her wife should no more take her husband's name than he should take hers. My name is my identity, and it should not be taken from me." This helped her and many others purpose to not have to be named from the man you marry. Even sometimes angry mobs of men tried to drown her out at her speeches. One night, someone stuck a hose through the stage window where Stone was standing and doused her with icy water. As a resolute, Stone pulled her shawl tighter and kept on talking. This helped her result for women's suffrage because it would have brought me to want to fight for what they had deserved and why we fought for what women deserved, and I promise to you that that act of bravery and care would have also wanted others to do the same. The amazing thing about Lucy Stone is that when she encountered many men at her speeches, doing things like trying to drown her out or throwing things at her just made her even more resolute.
Elizabeth Cady Stanton was one of the organizers and motivators that made the Seneca Falls Convention a reality, after she was not allowed to enter the World Anti-Slavery Convention that same year. She explored creating the Declaration of Sentiments, which is a document that outlines the rights that women should have. She wrote an lecture on women's rights and other reforms. She and Susan B. Anthony formed the NWSA, the National Women's Suffrage Association, in 1869 and led the association until 1890, when they merged with another suffrage group to become the National American Women's Suffrage Association, where she presided along with Susan B. Anthony and Lucy Stone. Elizabeth Stanton fought and explored new ways to obtain and retain women's rights.
Susan B. Anthony was the most widely known suffragist of her generation, and she became an icon of women's rights movement. She traveled all over the country to give the speeches to the people. That is how she encountered and explored. Along with another activist such as Elizabeth Cady Stanton, a colleague that she worked with. They were great leaders for the women's voting rights, which is what women had been fighting for. In 1853, Anthony campaigned for the women's property rights in New York State. 3 years later, she became an agent for the anti-slavery activist group, so she was more than a women's rights activist. During the Civil War, Anthony supported the Union cause and President Abraham Lincoln by forming the Women's Loyal League. In 1866, she joined with others to establish the American Equal Rights Association. The following year, the organization became active in Kansas, where African American suffrage and women's suffrage were to be decided by popular vote. However, both ideas were rejected at the polls. In the African American and women's suffrage organization, there were many ways they explored and exchanged ideas, but sadly it didn't go down the way they wanted. In 1868, Anthony and Elizabeth Cady Stanton established the Political Weekly, The Revolution, and that is how she explored. After the Civil War, she chose to concentrate on women's rights. In 1869, Anthony and Stanton founded the National Women's Suffrage Association. Then in 1872, Susan put her matters in her own hands and voted illegally in the presidential election. She got arrested and had a fee of $100 that she did not pay.
The first state to give women the right to vote was Wyoming in the year 1869. The next states that allowed women the right to vote were Utah, Idaho, and Colorado. After this, there was a stall in the suffrage movement. Between 1910 and 1918, the Alaska Territory, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Michigan, Montana, Nebraska, Nevada, New York, North Dakota, Oklahoma, Oregon, South Dakota, and Washington all extended their voting rights to women. On August 18, 1920, the 19th Amendment was ratified and finally guaranteed women the right to vote alongside men. After such a long and strenuous path that included lectures, read material such as publications, etc., lobbies, and practiced civil disobedience, these amazing women achieved what many Americans considered a radical change to the Constitution, end quote. Unfortunately, many of the key figures did not live long enough to see all of the fruits of their labors. In the 1800s, there were many women that helped explore the fight for women's rights, encountered resistance to gaining equal rights, and exchanged ways to achieve women's suffrage. These women have done many amazing works, which benefit society today. After a 70-year-long battle, these powerful activists and women realized their life goal in the 19th Amendment and equal rights for women.